The call came in at 3:12 a.m., Port Arthur time, $380,000 bleeding out every single hour, and I was about to get fired. I had both hands inside a control panel, trying to isolate a cascade failure that had knocked out $19 million worth of refinery equipment. My phone buzzed against my hip. I ignored it. Then it buzzed again, and again. I pulled off my gloves and checked the screen. Kevin Strand, my direct supervisor at Vantage Process Solutions, calling from Dallas at 4:12 a.m. his time. I almost didn't answer. When you're managing a crisis that's costing $380,000 every hour in lost production, a call from corporate feels a lot less urgent than the fault indicators flashing red in front of you. But I picked up anyway. 26 years of being the guy who always picks up. That kind of conditioning doesn't just go away. Marsh speaking. Daniel, it's Kevin. I need to inform you of a company decision, effective immediately. We no longer require your services as senior process safety engineer. Your employment is terminated as of today. Don't bother coming back to the office. I looked at the control panel in front of me. Fault code HX4471C still blinking red. Heat exchanger bypass valve showing unstable readings. Production units B, C, and D completely offline. Nolan Guerrero, the plant manager for Lone Star Refining Group, standing maybe 10 feet away, watching me with that look that said you're the only person standing between us and a $100 million disaster. My name is Daniel Marsh. I'm 54 years old, ex-Navy, and I just got fired in the middle of a refinery crisis that nobody else at my company knows how to fix. I understand, I said, keeping my voice flat. I'll let the plant manager know that you'll be handling the shutdown procedures for the crisis I'm currently managing. Silence, long enough that I thought the call dropped. What crisis? The refinery failure that brought me to Port Arthur yesterday. Units B, C, and D are offline. We're looking at approximately $380,000 per hour in lost production. I'm in the middle of diagnosing a heat exchanger bypass sequencing failure. I assume you'll want to send someone else to complete the resolution since I no longer work for Vantage. More silence. I could hear him breathing. Daniel, let's discuss this after you've resolved the Port Arthur situation. I don't think that's appropriate. You just terminated my employment. I shouldn't be working on Vantage projects if I'm no longer a Vantage employee. I'll brief Nolan on what I've diagnosed so far and catch the first flight home to Michigan. Wait, let me call you back. He hung up before I could respond. Before I tell you what happened over the next 48 hours, let me give you some background on who I am and why that phone call turned into the most expensive mistake Kevin Strand ever made. I joined Vantage Process Solutions in 1998. Before that, 8 years in the Navy, where I learned that when equipment breaks, you fix it fast or people get hurt. My father spent 31 years on the floor of a steel plant in Gary, Indiana. Same line his whole career. He used to say a man's reputation is only as good as what he can actually do when things go wrong. I never forgot that. Vantage designs and maintains high-precision refinery equipment for oil companies across the country. When a plant goes down and nobody can figure out why, they call Vantage. Vantage called me. In 26 years, I responded to 312 emergency refinery crises across 14 states, pressure system failures, valve sequencing errors, PLC programming bugs, sensor drift, mechanical tolerance issues. Every single time I showed up, diagnosed the problem, and fixed it. No drama, no committee, no excuses. The deeper value wasn't just the technical knowledge, it was the institutional knowledge. Every refinery I'd worked on had unique configurations. Every Vantage installation had custom modifications written specifically for that facility. Every system had quirks and edge cases that only existed in someone's memory after years of hands-on experience. That kind of knowledge doesn't live in a manual. It lives in the person who built it, tested it, and debugged it at 3 a.m. when everything was on fire. Kevin Strand had none of that. He came to Vantage from the finance department of a management consulting firm 18 months before he became my supervisor. He had never set foot inside an operating refinery before his promotion. He looked at the payroll, saw a senior-level salary, and saw an expense to cut. He didn't see the 26 years of irreplaceable knowledge that came with it. Some managers think institutional knowledge is just something people say to protect their jobs. Kevin was that kind of manager. He was about to learn how wrong he was. The Port Arthur crisis started 31 hours before that 3:12 a.m. call. Lone Star Refining Group, one of Vantage's largest accounts, hit our emergency hotline at 11 p.m. Monday. 3 of their 4 production units had gone down simultaneously. Each unit running at full capacity generates around $380,000 worth of refined petroleum products every hour. 3 units offline meant Lone Star was losing over $1.1 million every 60 minutes. The meter started running the moment they called. Standard Vantage protocol was to start with remote diagnostics. I spent 4 hours on a video call with their maintenance team, walking through every diagnostic I knew, reviewing system logs line by line. By 1 a.m., I had my answer. This wasn't going to be fixed from a laptop in a hotel room. The failure pattern pointed directly at the heat exchanger bypass sequencing system, the automated safety network managing pressure protocols across all 3 affected units. Something in there was fundamentally broken, and I needed to see it in person. I booked a 5:30 a.m. flight out of O'Hare. Landed in Port Arthur at 1:45 p.m. after connecting through Houston. Went straight from the airport to the facility. Nolan Guerrero met me at the security entrance. He looked like he hadn't slept since the weekend. "Mr. Marsh, thank you for getting here. We've been down 28 hours. Corporate is asking why we can't fix this ourselves. Because the failure pattern is unusual and remote diagnostics aren't cutting it. I need to look at the bypass controllers directly." He walked me out to the production floor. 3 massive refinery units, each one roughly 65 meters long, packed with distillation columns, heat exchangers, pressure vessels, and automated valve systems. All silent, all offline, all bleeding money with every passing minute. I spent the next 8 hours going through that bypass system with everything I had, reviewing fault logs, testing sensor readings, tracing the cascade failure pattern backwards from the shutdown event to find the original trigger. Here's what I found, and I'll put it in plain terms. The facility had been dealing with unusual pressure fluctuations for about a week because neighboring units were running scheduled maintenance, shifting the load across the system. The heat exchanger bypass was designed to automatically compensate for those kinds of pressure changes. But buried inside the custom control software was a subtle bug. It accumulated tiny rounding errors every time it ran a compensation cycle. After 7 straight days of fluctuations, those errors stacked high enough to push the bypass timing outside acceptable safety tolerance. The system detected the anomaly and triggered an emergency shutdown on Unit B. Units C and D shared the same pressure distribution network, so they went down automatically as a safety precaution. Here's the part that made this so difficult. The bug was in custom code that Vantage had written specifically for Lone Star's installation 6 years earlier. That code existed nowhere else. I was one of 2 people in the world who understood how it worked. The other one, Brett Lawson, was up in Wyoming on a completely separate client emergency with 12 days left on his engagement. Fixing it meant modifying the control algorithm to periodically flush those accumulated errors, updating the firmware on all 3 production units, recalibrating the pressure sensors, then running a careful controlled restart with safety checkpoints at every stage. I estimated 16 to 20 hours of solid work. I started at 10:45 p.m. Tuesday. By 3:12 a.m. Wednesday, I had the algorithm modified and was halfway through uploading updated firmware to the PLC controllers when Kevin called and told me I was fired. After Kevin hung up, Nolan walked over. "Mr. Marsh, is everything all right? I just got terminated by my employer while I'm in the middle of fixing your production units." He went quiet for a moment. "Terminated? You're the only person who understands what's wrong with our system, so what happens now?" "Vantage will need to send someone else to complete the repair." "How long does that take?" "The only other engineer who knows this system is Brett Lawson. He's committed in Wyoming for 12 more days. I watched him process that. 12 days, we lose over $9 million every day we're offline. That's more than $110 million. Then I'd get Vantage Corporate on the phone right now and make sure they understand exactly that. At 4:30 a.m., my phone rang again. Spencer Webb, Vantage's COO, 22 years with the company. Spencer knew exactly what my role meant to their entire crisis response operation. "Daniel, I just got off the phone with Kevin. There's been a misunderstanding about your employment status. We need you to complete the Lone Star engagement before we discuss any personnel matters." Kevin was very clear. "Effective immediately, terminated. Don't bother coming back. That's not a misunderstanding, that's a termination. I understand this is a difficult situation, but let's focus on Lone Star first. Once you've restored their production, we sort everything out. If I'm terminated, I shouldn't be doing Vantage work. If I'm not terminated, Kevin needs to call me back and say he made an error. That's how this works. This is a critical account. They're losing hundreds of thousands every hour. We need you to finish this. Then clarify my employment status. Am I a Vantage employee right now? Yes or no? Long pause. I could hear Spencer working through it in real time. If he said I was still employed, he contradicted Kevin's decision and created a management problem in Dallas. If he confirmed the termination, he was admitting Vantage had just voluntarily dismantled its crisis response capability in the middle of their most expensive emergency in years. Daniel, let me bring Kevin into this call so we can resolve it together. I'd rather you didn't. Kevin made his decision. I'm respecting it. If Lone Star needs engineering support, they should contact Vantage's emergency line and request another engineer. There is no other engineer available who understands Lone Star's system. That's unfortunate, but it's not my problem anymore. I ended the call. Nolan had been standing nearby the whole time. So what do? Contact Vantage formally. Request emergency engineering support in writing. Get a timestamp on it. But you're right here. You know this system better than anyone on the planet. Can't you just finish? I was terminated 51 minutes ago. I can't keep working for a company that just let me go. What if Lone Star hired you directly, not through Vantage, as an independent consultant working for us? I thought about that for a moment before answering. That creates complications. Your maintenance agreement with Vantage probably has exclusivity provisions. You might not be authorized to bring in an outside engineer to work on Vantage-designed systems. Let me check right now. He stepped away and called Lone Star's legal counsel in Houston. 4 minutes later, he was back, and his posture had shifted. Our legal team says the maintenance agreement covers routine maintenance with exclusivity provisions, but emergency repairs are treated differently. If Vantage cannot provide timely support, we can engage any qualified engineer we choose. They're defining timely as within 24 hours of a formal written request. Has Lone Star made a formal request to Vantage yet? Sending it right now. He typed the email on the spot, copied me on it, formally requesting immediate engineering support, noting that the Vantage engineer previously on site was no longer available, requesting a response within 2 hours, marked urgent. Sent at 5:18 a.m. At 6:10 a.m., Vantage's emergency coordinator replied, "We acknowledge your request for emergency engineering support. Our senior process safety engineers are currently committed to other client emergencies. We are working to identify available resources and will provide an estimated response timeline within 14 hours. Nolan, read it twice, 14 hours. That means Lone Star stays down at minimum another half day. Another $5 million in losses just sitting here waiting, so we use the contract provision. That's your call. Are you available as an independent consultant, Mr. Marsh? Potentially. What's the rate? I didn't lowball it. Emergency refinery crisis consulting at my level runs $700 to $1,600 an hour, depending on expertise and urgency. I was at the top of the expertise range, and this was about as urgent as it gets. $1,100 per hour. Minimum 55-hour engagement to cover full resolution and system validation. That's $60,500 total. Half up front before I touch anything, the other half when production is restored. Nolan didn't hesitate. Done. I'll have our CFO process the deposit before 8 a.m. At 7:45 a.m. Wednesday, $30,250 cleared into my business account. At 8 a.m., I picked up my gloves and went back to work. The repair itself took the rest of Wednesday and most of Thursday morning. I'll walk you through it the way it actually happened, because this is where 26 years either pays off or it doesn't. First, I had to finish the firmware modifications I'd started before Kevin's call cut me off. The control algorithm needed 3 specific changes: a reset function to periodically flush the accumulated rounding errors, improved handling of pressure coefficient variations, and tighter tolerance management for the drift values that had been building up over 7 days of cycling. Each change had to be tested in simulation mode before it went anywhere near a live system. You don't push untested code to a $70 million production facility. One bad line and you turn a bad shutdown into a catastrophic equipment failure that makes this whole situation look minor. That testing took most of Wednesday morning. Methodical. One change at a time, run the simulation, check the output against expected behavior, verify it, then move to the next one. No shortcuts. By noon, the algorithm modifications were done and confirmed. Then came the firmware uploads. Each of the 3 production units had to be updated separately with full verification checks between each one. You can't run them in parallel when they share a pressure manifold. Any interference during the upload process and you're back to square one. The whole upload sequence took another 3.5 hours. While the firmware ran, I tackled the pressure sensors. They had been drifting slowly for about 20 months, not enough to trip any maintenance alerts, but enough to feed slightly incorrect data back into the compensation algorithm and speed up the error accumulation. Recalibrating them meant careful manual adjustments on each sensor to bring the readings back to factory specification. Not complicated work, just slow, precise work that can't be rushed or handed off. By 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, firmware updated on all 3 units, sensors recalibrated across the board. Everything was ready for the controlled restart sequence, and this is the part where a lot of engineers without specific experience on these systems would make a serious mistake. Restarting a refinery isn't like rebooting a server. You don't flip a switch and wait. The startup sequence involves dozens of steps with specific timing requirements and safety checkpoints at every stage. Temperature has to rise gradually to avoid thermal stress on equipment that's been sitting cold. Pressure has to increase in controlled stages. Flow rates have to be managed carefully to prevent shock to the mechanical components. Skip a step or rush a checkpoint and you risk damage that makes the downtime cost look like a rounding error. I started Unit B at 7:45 p.m. Wednesday, worked through every checkpoint, verified every interlock, didn't hand anything off to Lone Star's maintenance crew, not because I didn't trust them, but because this was my repair and I wasn't going to let it fail on the last step. 2 hours and 20 minutes later, Unit B was running at full production capacity. All systems normal, Unit C came next, starting at 10:30 p.m. Same process, same discipline. Unit C was fully operational before 1 a.m. Thursday. Unit D was last and the most involved. It had additional safety interlocks specific to its configuration that required manual verification at each restart stage. I started the sequence at 1:45 a.m. Thursday and walked through every single interlock myself. No rushing, no assumptions. At 4:20 a.m. Thursday morning, Unit D came online. All 3 units running, full production capacity restored. Total downtime 61 hours and 20 minutes. Total production loss for Lone Star, approximately $23.4 million. A painful number, but a fraction of what it would have been if they'd sat idle waiting 12 days for Brett to finish up in Wyoming. Nolan was at the production monitors watching the output numbers climb back to normal. When I walked over, he shook my hand and held it for a moment without saying anything. Then, "Thank you, Mr. Marsh. I don't know what else to say." "You don't need to say anything. I'll have a full technical report to you by end of week. Failure analysis, root cause, repair documentation, all of it. Share it with Vantage so they can update their system records. And if we have follow-up issues, my consulting agreement covers 30 days of support for anything related to this repair. You have my number." At 5:30 a.m. Thursday, Spencer Webb called again. "Daniel, I understand you completed the Lone Star repair as an independent consultant." "That's correct. We'd like to offer you reinstatement. Full back pay, full benefits, effective immediately. Kevin's decision was premature, and the board recognizes that. I appreciate it, Spencer, but I'm going to decline. I'm operating independently now, and it's working out better for me. You're our most experienced crisis response engineer. If you're not with Vantage, our response capability takes a serious hit. That's a real problem for Vantage. You should start working on it. What would bring you back?" "Nothing right now, but I'm open to a consulting arrangement for specific emergencies where my expertise is genuinely necessary. Here's what that looks like. $1,100 per hour for active crisis work, $9,500 per month retainer for availability, 6-month renewable contract at my discretion, remote work unless travel is absolutely necessary, and travel time billed at the active crisis rate." "That's considerably more than your previous compensation." "Yes. And it's considerably less than another Lone Star situation. They lost $23 million in $61 hours. They would have lost over $110 million waiting for Vantage to find someone. My rates are high. My absence costs more." Spencer said he needed to take it to the executive team. I told him to take his time. Over the next 8 weeks, I got 11 emergency calls from former Vantage clients. The pattern was nearly identical every time. Critical production failure. Vantage couldn't get anyone there fast enough. Could I help as an independent? I helped all 11 of them. One call stood out. About 3 weeks after Port Arthur, Diane Caldwell, operations director at a refinery outside Beaumont, called me on a Tuesday afternoon. No small talk. Mr. Marsh, we have an alkylation unit that went down 14 hours ago. Our team has been going in circles, $310,000 an hour, and we can't isolate the fault. Are you available? Tell me what your fault logs are showing. She read me the error codes over the phone. I recognized the failure signature inside 5 minutes. Different system than Lone Star. Same category of problem, a sequencing error that had been quietly building until it crossed a threshold and triggered emergency shutdown. I can be there tomorrow morning. 100 an hour, minimum 40-hour engagement. Can you make it tonight? I was on a flight out of Detroit at 8 p.m. Total consulting revenue for those 8 weeks, $338,000. And the calls weren't slowing down, they were picking up. Plant managers in the petrochemical industry don't have a lot of options when a critical system goes down and their in-house team can't crack it. When word gets around that someone consistently shows up and solves the problem. No drama, no excuses, just results. The referrals come on their own. They talk to each other at industry conferences. My name kept coming up in conversations about emergency response. The reputation I'd built over 26 years was finally working for me instead of for Vantage. By August, I had retainer agreements with 12 different refinery companies across Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, North Dakota, and Wyoming. Combined monthly retainer income, $61,000 with additional project fees on top, whenever they actually needed me on site. That same month, Vantage formally accepted the consulting arrangement I'd proposed to Spencer, and Kevin Strand was terminated. The board had done the full accounting of what his 3:12 a.m. phone call had actually cost the company. The number wasn't pretty. Lone Star reduced their annual maintenance contract by $1.1 million, citing concerns about Vantage's crisis response capability. 5 other clients reduced their contracts for the same reason, another $2.2 million in annual revenue gone. Vantage paid premium overtime and emergency travel costs to reassign Brett from Wyoming for 2 separate crises I would normally have handled, $210,000 in expenses that didn't need to exist. And now they were paying me $14,000 a year just in retainer fees, plus $1,100 an hour whenever they actually needed me, rates 55% higher than my old salary. 2 more contracts walked entirely. TerraFuel Refinery down in Corpus Christi and Bayou Industrial Group out of Baton Rouge. Both had heard I'd left Vantage and reached out to me directly before Vantage could get ahead of the story. Both signed retainer agreements with me within 2 weeks. Total direct cost to Vantage from one early morning phone call, approximately $4.1 million. Spencer called in September to tell me about Kevin. Daniel, I want you to know that Vantage has restructured its engineering management. Kevin is no longer with the company. We've learned from this situation. What did you learn that institutional knowledge has value you can't see on a spreadsheet? That crisis response capability takes years to build and can't be reconstructed quickly. That personnel decisions need to account for operational impact, not just headcount numbers. Those are expensive lessons, but they're the right ones. We'd like to discuss bringing you back full-time, Director of Crisis Response Engineering, significantly improved compensation package, whatever it takes. I appreciate that, Spencer, but I'm earning more than Vantage could reasonably offer. I choose what I work on. I control my schedule. Why would I trade that to go back to a situation where someone with a finance background and 0 field experience can terminate me during a live crisis because he's trying to hit a Q4 headcount number? Because you built your career here. I built my expertise here. I'm taking that wherever I go. Right now, it's worth a lot more on the open market than it ever was on your payroll. I stayed independent. By December, I had 14 active retainer agreements with refineries across 5 states, annual revenue approaching $920,000, working roughly 60% of the hours I used to log as a Vantage employee, making more than 5 times my old salary. And I wasn't chasing work. The work was finding me. The following January, I was invited to speak at the Texas Industrial Safety Association annual conference on crisis response management. I used Port Arthur as the case study, walked the room through exactly how a personnel decision made during an active crisis can trigger a chain of consequences that dwarfs the immediate operational problem. After the presentation, 9 companies approached me about consulting arrangements. I accepted 3 more retainer contracts, bringing total monthly retainer income to $76,000. The association also asked me to join their advisory board, a role that had nothing to do with money and everything to do with helping shape how the industry handles crisis response going forward. That kind of recognition doesn't show up on a pay stub. but it means something. Vantage, for their part, kept the consulting arrangement running. Last year, they paid me approximately $32,000 total retainer plus active crisis work. That's nearly 80% more than my old salary. And they're still getting better value than they would have if Kevin had let me go 6 months earlier instead of in the middle of a live emergency. At 54, people will tell you that you're past your peak, that the market wants younger, faster, cheaper, that starting over at your age is too risky. What they don't account for is that 26 years of solving problems nobody else can solve, that knowledge compounds, it doesn't depreciate. You can't replace it by posting a job listing and onboarding someone in 90 days who's never stood inside an operating refinery at 3 in the morning with $380,000 bleeding out every hour. Kevin learned that. The expensive way, here's what it all comes down to. The most dangerous person to let go isn't the one who makes noise or threatens to quit. It's the specialist who is quietly doing the work that keeps everything running, the one you don't think about until they're gone, and suddenly nothing works the way it should. Because specialized knowledge doesn't stay at the company when you let the person walk, it leaves with them. And when the next crisis hits, and in this industry, there's always a next crisis, you find out fast that some things cannot be rebuilt from scratch with a new hire and a training manual. My salary advantage wasn't just compensation, it was insurance. Insurance against the catastrophic cost of not having the right person in the right place when something goes badly wrong. Kevin canceled the policy. He found out why it existed 51 minutes later, when he was already calling back trying to undo what he'd done. Sometimes the most effective response to being undervalued isn't an argument or a confrontation. It's stepping back, letting things play out, and allowing people to experience exactly what the world looks like without you in it. Kevin wanted me gone. I left. Then $4.1 million worth of reality explained it better than I ever could have. Best career move I ever made. The real cost of losing an expert is never on the termination paperwork. It shows up 51 minutes later in a panic call from the same man who signed it. They didn't fire a senior engineer that night. They canceled the only insurance policy standing between them and a $4.1 million lesson in what expertise is actually worth. Experience doesn't clock out when you do. It walks out the door with you, and the company that let you go is the last one to realize it's gone. At 54, I didn't start over, I cashed in. Every crisis I'd ever solved, every system I'd ever built, every 3 a.m. call I'd ever answered, it all became leverage the moment they stopped paying for it. Kevin cut the line item. The market set the real price, and the difference between those two numbers was $4.1 million worth of a lesson nobody at Vantage will forget.